We are diving straight into the drama as Conor McGregor's comeback hopes are crumbling fast. Dana White just dropped a bombshell statement to Jim Rome, claiming he was extremely confident McGregor would return this summer and that negotiations were in a great place. But the reality on the ground is far different, and we break down exactly what this latest development means for the Irish superstar.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to hold it with one hand? The PopSocket's Pop Grip gives you a secure grip, works as a phone stand, and even lets you swap the top for a fresh new look. Simple, useful, and perfect for everyday phone use. Click the link in the comments to grab yours on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the challenge brewing in the octagon. Record holder Jim Miller has made waves, forcing Jared Gordon to tap out in his home state, and he's openly signaling that he sees a major opportunity to test that new ankle on Conor McGregor when the Irishman is back in action. Find out why Miller thinks many people underestimate the return of the legendary New Jersey southpaw. We also have the intense speculation surrounding the McGregor versus Holloway matchup. Ariel Helwani is doubling down, stating with absolute certainty that Conor McGregor will face Max Holloway at UFC 329, and he believes the fight is close to being officially announced. We examine the timeline and the massive stakes involved if this high-profile clash materializes. And finally, we check in with Jim Miller as he pushes his own career goals. Miller has inked a new 5-fight extension to chase that elusive 50-fight milestone, and he openly admits he's looking for a big fight, specifically mentioning an Irishman. Don't miss the rest of this explosive MMA roundup. Stay tuned. Conor McGregor's highly anticipated 2026 comeback is facing significant doubt following recent statements from UFC President Dana White. Rumors surrounding a swift return have quickly dissipated after a series of events, culminating in a clarification from White that no deal has been finalized. Just 3 days after initial speculation, Dana White expressed extreme confidence to Jim Rome, suggesting negotiations were in a strong position for McGregor's return this summer. This optimism was further fueled by reports suggesting an official announcement was imminent, yet UFC 328 in Newark proceeded without any confirmation. The atmosphere at the UFC 328 post-fight press conference signaled a major shift. When questioned about McGregor, White acknowledged his prior optimism but firmly stated, "There is no deal done with Conor." This contrasts sharply with previous statements, highlighting the gap between expressed confidence and a signed contract. This development echoes past negotiations, recalling instances where McGregor claimed a fight was signed and delivered, only for White to halt proceedings. With the White House card scheduled for June 14, the financial aspects of the deal remain central. White attempted to mitigate concerns by citing the new $7.7 billion Paramount broadcast deal, which alters the traditional PPV structure and impacts McGregor's projected earnings. Beyond the financial hurdles, physical concerns loom large. McGregor is 37 and has not fought since sustaining a leg injury against Dustin Poirier in July 2021, marking a nearly 5-year layoff. Despite having cleared a reported 18-month USADA suspension and having undergone surgery on his leg, the physical toll is a serious consideration. While the UFC focuses on developing new talent, headlined by Khamzat Chimaev against Sean Strickland at UFC 328, the upcoming White House card features Alex Pereira and Ilia Topuria. McGregor's recent dismissals of these rising stars underscore the challenge he poses to the current roster's trajectory. Industry observers suggest that both parties recognize the leverage involved, explaining the protracted timeline for finalizing the McGregor contract. Conor McGregor is facing renewed challenges in the UFC, with reports suggesting a multiple record holder is targeting the former champion. The situation comes as McGregor prepares for a return fight against Max Holloway at UFC 329 in July, following a setback sustained at UFC 264 in 2021. Meanwhile, the landscape of UFC records is shifting. New Jersey fighter Jim Miller recently secured a first-round submission victory over Jared Gordon in his home state. Following the bout, Miller acknowledged the possibility of a future matchup with McGregor, stating, "I think that'd be a fun fight." He added a pointed comment regarding McGregor's recent injury, saying, "I'll test that new ankle he's got there, that titanium." Miller also noted that others in the community are aware of McGregor's status, adding, "Yeah, they know my number." UFC chief Dana White confirmed Miller's commitment to the promotion, signing a 5-fight extension that would push his professional fight count past 50 bouts. Miller currently holds the record for the most career UFC fights with 47 bouts, a record he achieved by defeating Gordon. He maintains a significant lead over other contenders, boasting 10 more fights than Neil Magny and Charles Oliveira, and 11 more than Rafael dos Anjos and Jeremy Stevens. The competitive field remains intense. While Charles Oliveira holds the promotion's second-highest win tally with 25 victories, questions linger about his ability to match the pace required to challenge the growing record set by fighters reaching 30, 40, and soon, 50 bouts. Miller, with his high fight count and dominance, is positioned as a serious contender, only 3 losses away from becoming the UFC's most defeated fighter. MMA journalist Ariel Helwani is doubling down on his prediction that Conor McGregor will face Max Holloway in an upcoming UFC event. Helwani maintains his earlier report that the bout would headline the UFC's International Fight Week event in July, asserting that the fight is very close to becoming official despite the lack of an official announcement. McGregor has publicly expressed a desire to return to the octagon after a 5-year absence, and there was prior speculation that he would headline a White House event. However, the promotion ultimately shifted plans, favoring the McGregor versus Holloway matchup to boost ticket sales for International Fight Week. The potential rematch carries significant attention, as McGregor remains the UFC's biggest star and Holloway is a highly popular fighter on the roster. Fans had anticipated the official announcement during the UFC 328 broadcast, similar to previous major announcements, but this did not occur. Helwani reiterated that the fight is still the planned headline for UFC 329 on July 11. If the fight materializes, it will mark the 13th time McGregor and Holloway have competed, having previously fought at featherweight, where McGregor secured a unanimous decision victory. Helwani remains confident that McGregor will face Holloway at UFC 329, standing by his report even after Dana White stated that no contracts have been finalized. He noted that while contracts are not yet signed, both fighters are considered essentially set to compete, suggesting the bout should headline International Fight Week barring unforeseen issues. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Helwani stated, "I was the first person to tell you that it's going to be Conor McGregor vs. Max Holloway. I'm still the only one. And we got people out there like Chael Sonnen and others who are refuting it." He emphasized that while he cannot dictate the timing of announcements, he can provide the facts. Helwani indicated the fight is nearing finalization. He mentioned the initial hope was to announce the fight during UFC 328, but he believes it will be official before the June 14 White House event. "If you don't believe me, you're going to be proven wrong. As of right now, they're on the goal line," Helwani asserted. He stressed his conviction, stating, "I've never said it's signed, sealed, and delivered. It will be. I just want to make that clear. I am not walking this back." He added that failure to make the fight happen by July 11 would indicate a significant negative development, as hosting it at the White House would be too late. Veteran UFC fighter Jim Miller is aggressively pursuing his goal of reaching 50 professional fights in the UFC, signing a new 5-fight deal to secure his spot. Following a recent submission victory over Jared Gordon at UFC 328, Miller remains in strong form at 42 years old, boasting numerous UFC records. Miller emphasizes that his primary motivation is to reach this milestone and retire, citing concerns about career-ending injuries. He stated that he wants to avoid preventable issues, relying on a trusted training team to ensure he maintains his physical condition safely. When asked about his next potential opponent, Miller hinted at a highly anticipated matchup, expressing interest in Conor McGregor, whom he described as an Irishman looking for a fight. This interest is fueled by recent reports suggesting McGregor is plotting a return, potentially facing Max Holloway at UFC 329. While Miller acknowledges the potential significance of such a fight for McGregor's career, his focus remains on achieving his personal goal of accumulating 50 fights without incident. Miller reflected on his career trajectory, noting that he has overcome significant personal challenges, including battling Lyme disease, which nearly ended his career. He views the journey to 50 fights as a process of conquering internal demons and ego, stating he has already dealt with past struggles. Looking ahead, Miller is excited for the final stretch, planning to embrace all aspects of his career, including media and fan interaction, as he nears his retirement goal. He confirmed that while he has other potential fights, the prospect of facing McGregor represents a significant and interesting opportunity on his path to the finish line.